So we'll open tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call to order at 6:31. Actually on time today. Okay, roll call, Mr. Dunbar.
Tom Ahern,
Here.
Ken Dunbar, here. Barb Garber,
Here.
John Locke,
Here.
Ken Riley, John Terras, absent. Steve Weaver,
Here.
Kurt Martyr, absent. Bart Dunsmore.
Here.
Okay, make a motion to accept the absences.
I'll move to accept the absences.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Alright, moving on, adoption of the agenda. Anybody want to add anything on today's agenda?
This is a special meeting, right?
This is the special meeting,
Right.
correct? No additions, I'll go ahead and move on. Approval of the minutes from April 7th.
Do we have to approve it, we don't have to, like, make a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
Yes, we should.
Okay.
I'll
well,
move
then
that we adopt
I'll second
the
that.
adopt.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Alright, motion carried. Sorry about that, Barb, thanks very much.
Hey, anytime.
Hey, I'm running on coffee and sugar right now, so. Alright, let's see here. Everybody have a chance to buzz through the meetings from a couple of weeks ago?
I was trying to get caught up, because this meeting is to discuss what we would talk about. I know it wasn't here last month, but this is to discuss the overall,
Yeah, the overall of the condominiums.
and these are some of the stuff that you brought to the attention, and that's why this gentleman's here.
That's why Mel here.
Okay, so I'm back up to speed, see, I think I got
There we
it.
go.
It's all good.
Rocking and rolling. If there's anything that anybody wants to update on or make any corrections of April 10th
Nothing stuck
agenda.
out to me, so I'll move that we adopt the minutes as presented.
Alright, and I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Moving on. Motion carried. Citizens' comments regarding agenda, non-agenda items. Well, we have Mel and we have Larry.
Just to let everybody know that
And
the
Bart.
water main and the sewer main permits have been applied for today.
They have been applied for?
Yeah. And
Okay.
they're approved by BMJ, and BMJ permits up, and of course all that cost comes from the developer.
Right.
Any of their time.
Well, I don't want to be diving into it. Alright, anything else? Is this where we bring on Mel and Larry? Mr. Weaver? For citizens? For the comments?
Is that under unfinished business?
Well,
Right.
they can make comments as citizens they want, but, we go, yeah, I would, if you want to say anything now, or if you want to talk later, or.
Oh, no, we can talk to them later when we get down to unfinished business, I guess. Eric's just kicking back there.
Then either of you wish to make citizen comments?
Yes, would you like to make citizens' comments?
Not really, I mean, if you guys got questions for me as we go along, I'll be happy to
Okay.
answer.
I just want to be polite and ask, though, this is the part to do.
This is
no
the part
matter
where
who's
it's
sitting there.
added in. I mean, I had my son here last meeting and. Okay, moving on. Communications. I didn't receive anything new.
I did get an email.
Oh, did you?
Communications that, regarding what Bart had mentioned, that BMJ had looked over the engineering plans and that they recommended everything looked good. There was a few contingencies as far as some paperwork they had to do regarding putting in the sewer lines and the water mains, but everything's there, black and white, very simple, short, to the point, so that
That's ready to
portion, when
move
that goes
forward.
on, I guess Bart, they actually pull permits for it, that's when they can start doing it.
Yes, how much time it takes the state to
Yeah.
approve it is another.
So infrastructure's well on its way to going in for phase B then. I mean, the water-
Permits go for 2 years.
Pardon me?
Permits go for 2 years.
Okay, right,
Yeah.
okay. They look like they're moving pretty quick though. I see they started digging that last basement on the way
Yeah.
here, up on Bell River, so. we're
Yeah,
next to the
I knew
old
they were
house.
gonna be doing 3 homes, and, yeah.
Yeah,
He
Does
tells
the
me-
state oversee those permits? Is that a state thing?
Yeah, Eagle,
They
for the
look at
water
water and
main and,
sewer.
yeah.
Cool, that's a good thing. Awesome, awesome. Anything else? Alright, moving on, new business. I don't think we really have anything except, all we're really on here for is in regards to last meeting, so. Moving on to unfinished business, is review condominium ordinance 150.105 through 150.126 of the Memphis Code of Ordinance. I think, Mr. Dunbar had stuff on that.
We just wanted to go over the ordinance with Mel and see his thoughts on the project and its compliance with the ordinance, if I'm understanding correctly.
Okay. And then we'll give the floor to Mel then in regards to that.
Well, I was able to come in and look over some of this stuff. I noticed that setbacks are
Right.
maybe just a little under, you know, the width. But I don't feel that there's an issue there. I really don't. You can have, if you got 20 feet between the condos. And them are both fire hazards, right?
Right.
So it's not really an issue on the side, there's no fire hazard that, you know, you're at 20 or 22 in the side yards. I know it's a, you wanna call it a corner lot, but there's no, you know, it isn't like it's a high-speed road either.
Right, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, it's,
You know,
it's a private road.
Area. In regards to the height, and I know our ordinance talks about, I think, 25 or 26 foot right now for our.
Right, we moved that on to
But
city
like
council.
I pointed out
to
to Larry,
30.
you know, these rules, I think, were set back maybe in the 90s or whatever, his ordinance, and that's when almost everything was built was a 412 pitch.
Right,
You know, now they're doing 10s and 12s to give it a lot of character, and they are really cool. You know, but I think it ought to be raised to 30. It's done all over. I have it all over my countries out here in all the townships I work in,
my house is,
you know.
mine was built in 1929,
I think,
and I got a 10-12 pitch and it's 30 feet to the center.
yeah.
So I got a big tall house down here, I'm the tallest I'm the
You know,
tallest
I
next to
don't have
this
a problem
pool.
with that being changed to, for the ordinance, for to meet our needs in this community to 30 because of, you know, the time changes and we gotta, the houses change
Moving, yeah.
in curb appeal.
At the next council meeting, though, we recommended, we did come up with a recommendation for that,
Okay,
section 150.059, the code be amended to allow a 30-foot
Okay.
maximum height structure in RM.
okay, I didn't know if that was,
And we went to RM just so that it would be even across the board.
okay.
You know, I thought, I was kind of under the impression maybe just do it for
The condos.
make condominiums, but I think that might get us in trouble, so I don't expect anybody will,
Yeah.
you know, but as you said, 30 foot's pretty acceptable, so that's gonna be put before the council the next meeting, and hopefully, we'll have a positive result on that, so that will take care of that issue with the condominiums.
In my opinion, looking at the design and everything, even the backyards, I know we talk about.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. It should be
There's nothing basically back there, especially on the backside over there. You know, they're gonna be what, 20 feet? I don't have it in front of me. I think
Yeah, it's 20 feet on the
20.
plans.
Is this the one here?
to go to a vacant field. Even the ones in the front, they're still backed up to a residential home that has a big backyard. On the- on, you know, on the
250 feet deep, that was a lot, so.
And,
I mean, I've seen, like I said, I mean, just with the pictures that like I said, I pulled up, I went through and these are just some of the condos and homeowners associations that I found in different cities. This one here is actually by where I used to live. And they allowed the variance, you know, a variance. And as you can see, I mean, they're quite close
Mm-hmm.
to each other. You know, so there was a variance allowed there for the build there. And Sterling Heights, I mean, they have a lot of condos.
yeah.
Why are you not closing? What I do?
In regards to our setbacks,
I was researching, Ken, in regards to the setbacks and other communities. And setbacks, it's just it's a guideline. You know, it's not set in stone, it depends on the community. and it allows, and those setbacks, depending on the community, they allow for variances in that. So if we have, so if the condos are, if we have a 20-foot setback, but here it's sitting at a 15, the city council in the city has the authority to allow a variance for that. And this is the only HOA condo association being built in our little square town here.
Right.
After that, there really is no other further residential development in this community. Anything north would be the agricultural, and if anybody wanted to build on that, you'd have to rezone it as RM or 1A.
My problem is not can we accommodate the projects. My problem is I don't think this project complies with our code. The setbacks, if you take it from the right of way, not the roadway, is like 8 feet in some places. And everything I've read into, most roads, or all roads, even private ones, have right of ways. Some right of ways are smaller. I've seen some roads have a right of way about 40 feet, but I've seen nothing below that.
Right.
So with a right of way of 60 feet, it just doesn't meet the front yard setback. And additionally, there's language in our code that talks about the side yard of setback being increased.
Are you talking about basic lots and homes in your city here?
Yes.
In general, see, this is a condo development. It should have its own regulations, not compared to just a residential house on a side street.
The condo ordinance does point us to the same zoning regulations as a residential multiple building. And from everything
Apples for apples, I wouldn't agree with that. I mean, it might call it as the same, but I don't think it should be.
Well, there's two sets of regulations that I'm seeing when I look at the state law on this. There's condo ordinances, which basically is saying, I'm just layman, but it's not like a platted subdivision. Those are hard, fast lines. You have the land that's in common. And in those condo ordinances that I read from the state of Michigan, it was 79 Act or something, the only set they're calling for is like 10 feet. So actually these guys are double that, a little bit more because of the way the line runs. It might be 22, 23 feet. And the reason they told me that is because it makes it easier for them to maintain.
Yeah.
Now, as far as what you're saying for right of way and road, I'm still not quite sure exactly where you're measuring a right of way to the front of the building, but within the condo itself and those back boundaries that they're building are 20 feet away. And the condo ordinance definitely says that it's 10 feet. And
Yeah, here's the right of way here.
we are being governed by the condo ordinance law, right, on the condos, as opposed to applying law to lot sizes and platted subdivisions like Lois and Roberts and the old McGuire subdivision that's no longer with us. Right.
From everything I've seen, I didn't find anything that says they can't be more than 10 feet. They have to be 10 feet. Everything I've seen.
That was a guideline, 10 feet or,
It's a guideline.
Well,
That's
what I'm
we said.
saying is the one part, the part you pointed us to that was 10 feet, I don't think that governs condos. And I think we touched on that briefly. I think that was specifically for mobile homes. And I don't think we can use that as a guideline of it's a condo, so it doesn't have to be more than 10 feet away from the property boundary line.
Well, maybe I could suggest this thing, Ken, write that up exactly how you want it and send it to the council to consider. If we can't resolve it here. I mean, that this is what we need to do for whatever questions that we have left unresolved tonight with talking to Mel and the input of us all here.
I agree.
That needs to be, just like we sent a recommendation to increase our
30
feet
feet.
height to 30 feet. So, if that, I'm not on the same page with you, obviously, which is fine, only, everybody's agreeing, only one person's doing the thinking, so, I'm all for that. But to get it resolved, move forward, then I think we need to, bump it up out of here and state the case as succinctly as you can and let the council consider it.
So what was the speed limit be through there? 15? running the streets.
With that.
It's a
25 probably, right?
Yeah.
Residential's 25.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be that inside.
No, I think in an HR, I think in,
Isn't it up to them?
Oh, with the HOA, I don't know.
Yeah.
HOA sets they set their own speed limit,
But you know,
literally.
usually when you run that tight, man,
It's usually 15.
sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think
15,
Canada
I've
was
seen.
15 miles an hour.
Yes.
Larry, you've lived in before, so you
And
know.
I lived in one too, and, now the one I lived in was, I think, a little higher, but, because it was detached condos, so it was.
Right.
And, but the other one that I own, the speed limit was 15.
Yeah.
And, so,
This
Well-
is Richmond's.
So
Garden Grove, yeah.
what would you think we could change it to make us happy? Well, what would you recommend? Because we've been talking about this for 3 months already, and
My recommendation would be they comply with our code, or we spend a sufficient time reviewing it. And,
I think we spent sufficient time reviewing it.
Can we
It's
just
time
change
to
it?
move it on now.
I mean, like you said, there's gonna be no other condos built, this is pretty
Right.
much it.
This is it.
So shouldn't we
That's why I-
adopt our code? I'm not saying we're gonna change our code for one builder, but at this point, wouldn't it be easier to change the code than it would be to
The city
rebuild
council.
the? I'm asking,
All
I
for
mean,
discussion.
I hear, we have Mr. Schneider, go ahead, sir.
Just so you know, there is 12 acres at the north end of town that could possibly, actually, that's what this condo ordinance was written for, because somebody had talked about building condos there. We actually moved what was there to the Lions, back of the Lions Club, and then somebody changed it, I believe, back to agriculture so they could get the tax breaks on it.
so there is a possibility that there could be more condos,
It could
so,
be developed there.
Could be.
so if
12
we,
acres, I believe is what it is.
okay, well, I mean, that could still
How
be
many
some
acres?
condos there.
Yeah, how many
so
acres is
let's
the current?
straighten up, let's fix the ordinance and be done with it.
Currently, you're not gonna build another condo complex unless you buy property to put another lagoon in. We're pretty well maxed them out
Or
with
put
the
it on-
project.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
20 years from now or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, somebody's gonna have
When we
to.
have a big treatment facility.
Some will get built there
Yeah,
eventually.
whether it
Yeah.
may be.
I mean,
Let's
but
get
can
more
we just-
people in the
can we
town.
just-
so
Let's
that's
get more
big
people
for
in the town so we can build more, build.
Exactly.
Ken, do you have a problem if we change the ordinance?
a little, not if we spend sufficient time reviewing it and going, okay,
It's
you
been 3
know.
months, Ken.
I'm sorry?
It's been 3 months.
It's been 3 months.
I mean,
If you were building a house right now, what would you say? Are you kidding me? It's been 3 months.
I mean, I would be displeased, but I also feel like not a lot of discussion has been had. And I know I say that every time, but it feels like I present information and then we
I
have
think it's time to put it to bed.
more questions.
How many feet you want?
What do you mean?
That's your opinion. You know, how many feet do you want, the setback? And
I,
it sounds like the front of the building is your biggest problem, right?
the back I think should also comply, but I think the setbacks are fine as they are. I just don't know why.
Well, then I'm not.
Then that's-
sure what-
No,
there
he's
should be a
saying
problem
he thinks
there.
the setbacks, the way that the current code is are fine, not the setbacks, right? Am I?
Yes, as I believe they're written, because we're saying there's no right of way, which like I said, I haven't seen anything that would suggest there's no right of way on.
I mean, looking at, is there a copy of the prints in here, Ken?
Yes,
It should be.
Where would I find it?
it's in the 13 special meeting right there, up a little.
Up a little, what
This
is
one?
it?
Yep. And then.
These ones?
Yep.
This way everybody can see it. Is that big enough for everybody?
No.
No? I can make it bigger. I seriously can.
There you go.
Is that better?
That's sweet.
You drive me. Alright, so
So there's our,
there's our condo.
Yeah.
And for what I'm seeing here, I see this here, it looks like 85 feet. Here, I see 5.5 here from the center line, and I see 20 feet from what I'm seeing here. Can I move this like this? No, I can't.
That's to the sidewalk, yeah.
Ken, maybe when Tom's done, would you go up and point that out, you know, make your points and
Because
show
here,
us
from this
on the
right
map?
away, if you see here, I can even make it bigger. I won't make it bigger. Because I sat and studied, I was sitting here with a magnifying glass almost,
Yeah.
just looking, but
Is there a particular unit that's,
Here, if you
Worse
go
than
here,
that.
here is the right of way, right here. This is the right of way, right there.
No.
no, that's the
That-
edge of the road.
That's the edge of the road.
That's the right of way. If I, hold on a second. No. Sorry, I can't do two, I can't.
We trust you, you're much more literate and pure than most of us, so we trust
Yeah,
you.
no kidding.
Here is an example. I'm going to make it really big. I'm just gonna keep it there. This is the county road.
Yeah.
This is the right of way.
Right.
So, this is basically the sidewalk, right here. There you go. This is the end of the road. See right here, here's the quote, city property. This is the right of way. This, going from this right of way to here is your
Here's your
front setback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going back to these, here. We're getting there. This is a free laptop, so I have to deal with.
We got that surrogate lot line language in all these condo ordinances.
My son's not here today, unfortunately. He is with his girlfriend.
That's unfortunate.
So, this is the road, 25 feet. That's what I'm showing, okay? This is the right of way, right here, right where this little arrow is. I'll even go bigger.
That's not the right of way.
Gosh, why?
Well, that's what we gotta get pinned down, and that's great. I really appreciate the illustration.
Okay, so show me,
Figured it out.
alright, so what I need, Ken, is you to show me
Where's your pointer?
where.
I know, should have brought a laser pointer.
You had a pointer before.
One moment, please.
I did, I wasn't expecting to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here, got a laser, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now there it is.
Makes me want.
I did come prepared.
All right, yeah, you're
Okay.
doing good now.
So, between the sidewalk and this is 5 feet. The sidewalk is 5 feet, and the driveway is 20,
Okay,
for a total of 30 feet from building 6 to the
To the
end,
road.
to the road. The road is 25 feet wide. Our code calls for a right-of-way of 60 feet. So I went to the center.
60 feet, that doesn't sound right.
No, it
Different
did-
roads
That's a
vary.
county.
Well, we did talk about this, and for whatever
Like I said,
reason,
it's
in our, it is in there, it says, and I'm like,
Yeah.
60-foot right of way, I do stuff all over for DT, and there is never a 60-foot right
Our
of way.
major street, for example, Foreman, that's considered a 66-foot right of way.
Right,
That's from the center line is 33 feet
right.
and 33 feet going the other way.
Yes.
Yep.
Local street, traditionally they're 25 feet.
He's just telling you what it says in the code, right?
Yeah.
currently.
And
Yeah.
So that's why you come up with what you come up with.
exactly. And that being said, I've reviewed other municipalities' ordinances, and I have seen no right-of-way less than 40 feet, but most of them say 60. And that's for, if for some reason we develop this project, and then the school moves away, and we need to build more homes on that lot, we can designate that road to the public. It has adequate right-of-way.
That would be considered, we would zone that as, if anything, would be zoned as R1A for residential. This is RM.
And
I'm talking about-
And this is not the city's road.
It could
This
be
is a-
dedicated to the city,
Well,
but
We don't want the road, that's not part of the deal.
No, we don't, but it does, our code does say private roads will meet the requirements setback of 60 feet. And so if we, come
On a
out,
residential home,
I'm sorry,
on a residential home,
on the condos
on
specifically.
condo.
It specifically calls out condos.
I remember that.
Well, maybe it needs to be tuned up.
It needs to be, yeah,
That-
that needs to be
I like the
changed.
height and
I mean,
variance.
that being said,
Yeah.
we wanna change this thing, but we're basing that on, well, that just doesn't seem right.
Well, what I'm thinking of, this is my thought, okay, with this condo complex, yes, it says 60 feet.
Yeah.
This is a private road, this is a HOA maintained by the homeowners, where we allow the variance for this, allow it to be built, and while the variance has been, the city council approved the variance for this property to be developed, and then we take the time and redo the code of ordinance.
But then we have to go to the zoning board.
They would have to go. There's no language in our code that says they could ask the council, which
Yes,
there are.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, we recommend that they go
right.
for this property to be built, because right now, according to Mel, everything is within specs regards to the developers and, you know, everything is ready, set to go, permit's been pulled. Mel doesn't see a problem with this. We need to take our code of ordinance that's probably 40 years old, and we need to make adjustments on it. Allow the developers to request a variance with ZBA, their property to be built, and then we move on and change our code of ordinance for future developments.
I mean, they're more than free to go and ask the ZBA.
That's what I'm saying.
That being said, I mean, I don't think that should be granted.
Well, you got your vote, I mean, if you had.
But like
Right.
just reading, there's I summarized it in my summation, but you have to show practical difficulty, not I
That's
just
not
want
for us to decide, that's for the ZBA to decide. You
I mean, that's
understand that
the
there?
law, though, right? Like, I mean,
I understand it's the law, but what I'm saying is,
That being said,
I mean, if we tell them that we gotta make this road bigger, that means the house is gotta be smaller,
yes.
you know, so.
They won't develop it.
You could kill the whole project.
You would kill the whole project, you can look at it.
Cause you wanna limit this down to what, 40? Or
I mean,
I'm
something
showing
versus
how many-
68?
I have no opinions on this project, other
Sounds like you do though.
than I want the code to be followed. That is my
Yeah,
only opinion.
Right, but like I said,
We've
The
never
set-
had
the
a
setbacks-
condo in this town.
the setbacks are recommendations. I read up on it over the weekend, where it says that a setback is not set in stone. It can be adjusted for each
Now
development.
that will work.
So if we have a 30-foot setback, but they only have a 25, we can allow that 25-foot setback instead of a 30.
I mean, if they get a variance, for sure.
Right, well, like I said, we can't make that decision on the variance. That variance has to come from the ZBA, am I not correct, Mr. Snyder?
No, it does have to come from the ZBA. That being said, next meeting, we have to complete our preliminary review, and we have to tell them they're either, this project is good and they're able to proceed, or we have to recommend to them changes. And I think based on our code, it would be something of, you know, you're more than happy to seek a variance, but the project is in non-compliance with our code.
But we can change the code, that's what I'm saying is.
I don't think you could change the code quick enough.
How
You know,
fast is to change it from 60?
Be a lot faster than the zoning board though.
That's what I mean, and can we change it from the 60 to the 30? If we agree to do that, then that'll solve all of these issues.
That's what we did with the height. then.
Yeah, can't we do that? Do we have the power to do that?
That's what we did with the height. We
You
Make
can
a
recommend it.
recommendation?
recommended to the council to increase it from 25 to 30. Why can't we do the same thing?
To decrease
same-
from
it's the same
60
thing.
to 30 foot, or 40 foot, well, even a 40 foot would work. Wouldn't Ken, that would, if we decrease from 20, or from 60 down to 40, that gives you 10 more feet.
some of them would comply, some of them still wouldn't.
I don't know, Mel reviewed it too, and then he's been around a couple of years, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there again, I'm going on what I think, part of the reason for right-of-ways and setbacks is because of what kind of traffic you're dealing with out in front.
Right.
Correct.
And there again, we're not on the Bell River Road or, I mean,
Right.
fast travel where they're running 40 when they, when they speed.
And
limit 25.
this HOA may say
You're
no
gonna- I think
street
you're gonna
parking.
find there's gonna be, when you pull in there, there's gonna be a 15-mile-an-hour traffic.
Absolutely.
They want people, older people out walking their dogs and things, and they want to keep it slow. There's nothing moving through there that's gonna be as dangerous as if it was on 19 or something.
Right.
I mean, it's smaller than a mall that you drive through the parking lot.
Correct.
That development. It's not even the size of a small mall.
No, and it's a small, and I said, I mean, that's why I brought it, I mean, you saw the one in Richmond. It's small, they're compact, and it's the same property.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, quite literally, I mean, they buy property, I mean, this one right here, this is Delco by the new Tractor Supply. What is there, how many units there? 3, 6, 8 units. That was just a strip of land. Somebody came in, and you're telling me that there's, you know, that they got a variance. I mean, look how close this is. You're spitting distance from your neighbor.
Mhm.
This is your driveway. There's no on-street parking. There's a sidewalk, standard sidewalk. If they're in there, you go past there, you blink your eye, you're past that development.
I mean, the sidewalk's like 15 feet from the road.
This is Richmond. This is actually, the development in Richmond, that condo association in there. I mean, it's tight. I mean, 2 swipes of the lawn works. There's the right of way, that's it. And that's all the way
You
down.
say the right way is the edge of the sidewalk, Tom?
Yes. And this is the full development of it.
Do we know that's the right of way?
That's typical.
That's typical. The
I don't know if
right-of-way
we
is
know
at the
that,
edge of
but
the
I know
sidewalk.
from my experience from whenever we're setting utility poles or doing that type of work, the county usually requests that we go right on the edge of the right of way, or we have to get an easement from the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the time, the sidewalks are, right at the edge of that sidewalk is where it is.
And that's how the builders put the sidewalks in,
Right on the edge.
On tracks.
Yep.
Yes.
because they had to get a foot extra, so they moved it just a foot over.
Did you?
Right.
To fit, so everything would.
Yeah, 'cause they were right on top of that ditch.
Did you do the new poles over at 17 in Mound? They literally, did you move the poles back, or did they move the driveways?
They widened the road.
Yeah, they widened the
And
road
they
and
took
you,
all the poles out of the median, we're still in the process of taking all the poles out of the median, and they put them all on the east side, because they wanted to make it look very pretty down the median.
yeah, so who moved who?
We put all that was the edge of the right of way was where the sidewalk is, and our poles are, most of the time, the poles are between the sidewalk and the road.
Correct.
Unless we had to do something different, then the poles are right at the edge of the right of way, and they literally move the sidewalk around the poles.
Right, so it
So-
cut into the property owners.
No, we went to the road.
Oh, did
So
you?
our poles are right on the edge. The sidewalk goes closer to the road in some instances. But again, I know what you're trying to say. I get what you're saying, Ken, because you're just saying, I don't really care if they build 100 of these. I just want to follow our rules.
Yes.
And right now, we don't follow the rules that were laid ahead by our forefathers. So
And
we either have to change the rules to comply with this new
Change.
building, which makes sense, or we have to ask them to move the buildings, which then they're probably gonna scrap the project, and we're gonna,
We're gonna be stuck with.
eventually what's gonna
some
happen is we're
acres.
gonna end up losing revenue for the city, and that isn't what we're here for. We're here to help make sure everything's right and
Always
produce
everything.
and make the whole county, or our whole city better off, and by having more development, makes the city more money, which then makes it
But
better.
the city sat stagnant for so many years.
Right.
you
Yeah,
know.
this is great. I said,
This is, how many millions of dollars is this?
we just have to figure out if,
In your eyes, looking at all the prints and everything, you don't see any issues with safety or with road size and with setbacks. You're good with all.
I think it's a workable plan. I think if you feel you need to change it, to drop it, the setback a little bit, go through the procedure and do that. I don't know how long that'd take,
I
but
don't
like
know
you
either.
said, I don't think it should take long, you're doing it about the height, make it the
Well,
same
you know,
time.
just talking about the process for a minute, Eric, I didn't know what that had, it was easy, I didn't even think about that. But just like Barb, you brought up, we just sent a recommendation last month. And I followed that out of the code book, which I'm wondering if it's 2 different things, but it would be exactly the same. It says you gotta cite the specific code, so on the height thing, it was, you know, the city council, that's section 150.059, this setback has a section number in it, does it
Yep.
not? In the Memphis Code of Ordinance, just as this.
Yeah,
this
I'd
did.
have to bring it up, I don't have it on
And
me
so
right
when we
away,
did
too.
that, we asked, you know, for the council was asking, or the council's being asked to change that. I don't know if that's different from a property owner seeking a variance. And if it is, then, you know, we sent it
It's
to the
definitely
zoning
different.
board of appeals.
Absolutely.
Well, regardless, we could, just to make it simple, put it in that language so that the council can consider it and then do its, you know. due
Property
diligence.
owner asking for a variance is different from city council changing an ordinance.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of here. Is that a distinction that's there? We're just changing an ordinance. We're not granting a variance.
Are we
So-
changing the ordinance to a setback of 10 feet in the front yard?
Whatever recommended from the planning commission.
Well, you can't, it's gonna be bigger than 10 feet. You gotta be able to park a car in it.
Yeah, so whatever,
But
Yeah,
that's
sidewalk.
my point. The setbacks are governed by the districts that these condos lie in, and they're from the right of way, and they're 25 feet.
Okay, and what's our current setback,
So, I mean, I guess,
what is our setback right now? We're setback at 30 feet, it says non-conforming to the.
well, are you citing setback under the condo ordinance or the?
I listed somewhere.
Front yards are 25 feet, rear
25
yards
feet.
are 30 feet.
Okay,
And front yards are 25 feet.
and what are the buildings set at right now? With these plans, what's the back setback?
Depends on which side of the sidewalk we're
Well,
going.
some, I,
Right, some are,
some of the, I think they're all 25 feet in front.
okay, so that's within our setback.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I think that some of the rears are 20 feet.
20 feet, yeah.
All of the rears are basically 20 feet.
Yeah. And-
alright, and what is our ordinance, 30?
30.
Yeah.
So the only, see, but
And that's
all
for,
the
that's for
front
older
yards,
neighborhoods.
I had to check with a magnifying glass because I didn't have the big print, but all the front yards are 25 feet,
Okay,
yeah.
and the backs are 30, or the backs
The
are,
backs are, supposed to be 30, but a lot of them
They're
are at 20,
But
in that range.
our old residential ordinance right now, just for residential homes, you gotta have a total of 15. You can have 5 on one side and 10 on the other.
right,
So
Yeah.
that's a lot less than the
Most-
20 they got.
most of these are-
To an open field.
Yeah, most of the side, I don't think there's a problem on any of the side. yards.
I don't see a problem changing it.
I still think that's different under the condo ordinance. I know we disagree on that, but
What's the condo
under the
ordinance?
state laws, it's 10 feet. They doubled it. And that's
I mean, you
not
got
the same as, you know. we're
So what
not
the
gonna
condo
set
ordinance is
residential
20 for
house
the
as
state?
opposed to Residential house.
And we're sitting at 15, or we're sitting at 20.
I'm still in disagreement. I think that's a rule for not for condos, for mobile homes.
No, I know, well, we.
I just don't want them to
established
take
that we
it as,
disagree on
take
it.
it as facts, you know,
What is the condo ordinance for rear setback, Ken?
ours,
Yes,
30 feet,
30 feet, and these condos are set at 25.
20,
20 in the back.
20,
yes.
20 in the back.
The ones in
20
the,
in the back are,
the ones in the
That
middle, I
seems to
think
be
comply.
the sticking point. The front, Larry, seems.
The fronts are
all right.
25 and that's
When
fine.
I checked, I thought all the fronts are 25 feet.
So we're good in the front, so it's.
So it's just the back.
It's the back.
20-foot setback
Yeah.
versus the 30-foot in our ordinance. It sounds like it all boils down to that, unless I'm not following.
I don't see a problem changing it to 20, really. I mean, I've gone through so many different condo
Because 20 is
associations.
really 40. Because if it's 20 feet and they decide to build something on the other side of that, they still have to be 20 feet,
Right,
right? So you're really at 40 feet.
right.
to anything else.
I mean, that's what I mean. So,
Yeah,
so
structure.
if that field gets bought out and they decide someone wants to build something on
I
it,
think
they
it's pretty
got,
adequate space.
I mean, that's
you know.
40 feet
I
between.
think so.
You got 20 feet between the condos that are both, like I said before, they're both possible burnable structures. You only
Yeah.
got 20 feet there approved.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know, so you've got 20 feet and it's only one side's burnable.
there's some condo associations and HOAs that they're so close you could pass butter through the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're that close. I mean, like I said, we're splitting hairs here.
No, I just think to Ken's point, he just wants to make sure that we are following the rules that are.
If it's at 30 and they're at,
So
I mean, I don't
we
see
need
a
to change the
problem.
rule.
I don't see a problem changing it to 20.
What section is that under specifically, Tom? Are you reading out that condo ordinance?
And we don't change it, we just make a recommendation to
Right.
the city council and they do what they're
They can
doing.
accept,
It's the-
reject, or.
Do you have it, Ken? Because I
It'd
know
be the
you
same
have it.
one we just changed, 150.059.
Can we amend the one we just sent in?
That being said, the
Well,
proposed,
also separate, so
the proposed change, I don't believe actually solves the problem.
that setback in that same chart is 150.059?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
What's the purpose of setbacks in general? What's the purpose of setbacks and right-of-ways?
So you can't spray your neighbor with water.
Safety, fire safety.
Fire and safety, and if we change those numbers, code book aside, change the numbers to what they are right now, does that increase or cause any type of safety hazard like Barb brought up? Is there anything different as far as safety that's gonna change if we just change the numbers in the code book?
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
You've already got
That's simple.
condos that are 20 feet apart, they both burn.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, we can
One's
have,
gonna light up, the other one's gonna light up, it's gonna go down, 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 down.
These developers have built numerous homes,
Yeah.
Correct.
numerous everything. They are not going to give us a development that's unsafe, undesirable. They're not gonna do that. They're here to
Could put them in a
make.
liability
they're here-
situation.
Well,
even, you know.
of course, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. But this definitely isn't their first rodeo, so.
So, will everybody throw stuff at me if I make a motion to
No,
Change-
you have the you have the
change
absolute,
one
right?
50.059 setback from
30 feet to 20 feet.
Do I hear a second?
I'll say.
can I have a question on that?
Yes, sir.
Will that cover the issue that we're having right now? Will that bring the numbers in line with what we got?
We'll have our 20 foot. That's
So
what
that'll be fine.
They're
Then, yeah.
I disagree.
proposing.
You can disagree, Ken.
But we're still not acknowledging if there's a right of way or not. Because if there is any form of right of way, the front setbacks don't comply.
Well, then, do we put that in there also?
The front setback, you see the right of way, you see it, that it's,
No, what he's
it's the
saying,
edge of the sidewalk.
if it's at the edge of the sidewalk, then it's only 8 feet.
I think that drawing is shrunk for purposes of being able to see both the right
No,
of
this
way-
is it, I mean, literally, I can go,
Well, can we settle one of these issues at a time? Are we back on the front?
We have a motion on
We do
the
have
floor.
do I, right, to 150.059.
That's what we wanna vote on that first, so we
Yeah,
don't.
we
Yes,
back on.
absolutely.
Let's get the rear
Let's not talk
taken
about
care of.
both them. Let's get one.
Who
and
seconded
take the
that?
sign.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
I did.
Alright, all in motion to, change the setback from 30 feet to 20 feet on the rear in our code of ordinance. So,
Wanna do-
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Alright. How many nays, how many yays?
Was one opposed.
Okay. Motion carries.
Now we have to address the front.
The front setback.
Or the right of way.
The right of way.
Yeah. So the setback is fine, depending on where the right of way is. So that's the problem, is we don't have a defined right of way.
Well, the defined right of way is 60.
Our local, I know our major streets are 66.
66 traditionally, yes.
Yeah, now, what's the local streets? You told me one
Usually-
time, but I forgot.
Yeah, usually those are 25.
Well, we are 25 feet.
They're based on, I'm sorry, they're 50, so 25
Yeah,
and
each way.
25, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, well, okay, so our road, so the right of way then should be 50 feet. With the road, the road's what, 22 feet, 25 feet? We got roads that are 22
You
feet.
can, oh,
Where do you want me to go?
we're just gonna look at that road, how wide it was.
It said, here it just says 66.
No, the road itself.
It's 25 feet.
Oh, the road? Oh, we can do that.
Oh, I got it right here.
It's 25 feet.
Yep, 25.
But Bart, some of our local roads are only about 22 feet,
20 feet,
20 feet.
yeah, in fact, 18 feet.
Really?
Right,
Because
but
the
you got
one we
curb
were
and
paving,
gutter.
Depending on
bad.
curb and yeah, res-
Curb and gutter.
all I know is that a
yeah.
53-foot semi cannot make it down my street and turn down on
18
Cedar.
on-
Yeah.
18 with no curb and gutter, 20, and then over the 20-foot pave, then it goes to 22,
Yes, yeah.
What is
all
board?
over town.
So these are the-
All over town, that's like that, like in
Yeah.
front of my house, Bell
Right,
River.
right.
These are the side streets, this is not the main.
Yeah.
Roads,
If you
'cause
go
the
down
main
Cole
roads are
Street, that's
wider.
curb and gutter. Yeah, so,
And like Boardman, that goes out to the 66 foot.
yes. Yes. In fact, there was this
County roads are 66 feet in the state.
somebody was upset about that. They surveyed the property, BMJ already knew it was a 66-foot right of way. The property owner said, no, I just had a survey. Well, the surveyor was wrong, who he hired, after a new surveyor come in. So BMJ was correct on that.
Okay, so what do we need to talk about next?
Well, it's even if, it says there's a 60-foot right of way, and at 60 foot it only leaves 8 feet. Correct, Ken? So we would have to almost eliminate,
Now, you're talking local roads.
Yeah.
in our documents, in our codes, it's, and what it proposes this development has a 60-foot right of way. That's what it is in our
Condo
specified- in our
Condo
ordinance.
ordinance.
Yes.
So, I'm not saying I agree with that, I'm just saying that's what our
That's kind
ordinance
of, yeah,
is.
60 foot, that's like 40.
So 60 feet, if you take that 60 feet with the 25-foot road, you can see you got quite a bit of right of way. And that's
Right.
what Ken's saying, is
Yeah.
now, from the edge of right of way to that house is only 8 feet.
Yeah.
So if somebody were to come in, and not saying it's gonna happen, but if somebody comes in and they're gonna put something on the edge of the road right away, now you only have 8 feet of yard from the front of that condo to that.
Where are we seeing, I mean, I'm looking here, I'm seeing 20.
They don't designate the right of way on there at all.
So what he's
It's
saying,
right
you got, he's saying you got 25 feet, right? So then you got 60 feet, so now you have 35 feet left, divided in half.
Because I'm showing
So you
85
have
foot
17 and a half
from-
feet,
Over
front to
60
front.
foot, you'd have 30 from the center of the road.
yeah.
30 feet on both sides.
Bart, is that, you told me that, local streets aren't that wide.
No,
It's in the condo ordinance.
this is, yeah, that's,
It's, yeah,
yeah. Well, we're not talking apples to apples here,
No,
this is a condo,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but why would local
our
streets?
residential streets,
Local
so.
streets only be 6 feet less than major.
Yes.
That don't make sense.
Yeah,
Right.
Don't make sense at all.
yeah.
It may, I think that condo ordinance got pushed in there fairly quickly because
It seems like
we
it.
needed a condo ordinance.
Well, I did a lot of work
Yeah.
on that condo.
Yeah, we were under the gun on that
Yeah,
too.
years and years ago.
Well, what do you
I don't
think about,
remember- I
what
don't
do you think
remember
about
that.
the 60
Every-
feet then?
Yeah,
For
I
right.
think Charlie was mayor at the time.
But what do you think of 60 feet right away?
Well, I think that's way too much.
Yeah.
That
For
was
this,
way
Absolutely.
for this
too much.
development.
Yeah.
For this development, I mean, 60 feet, like I said, that's putting
Well,
Portland Road all the way around.
Yeah, if you're gonna enforce that on this, that project's dead. I'll tell
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
it's dead.
I think the reason for the 66 feet is because they have ditches on both sides, they have to take care of surface water.
Right.
These aren't, this is gonna be controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
all,
it's all
yeah,
strong.
drainage.
Sure.
Ditches, you don't
This is
get
all
their own
covered together,
retention.
I
They put
believe,
the
and
ditches.
storm drains.
Yeah, so
But
you're.
when you're showing that, it does look like that is a right of way. I don't know what that line is, there's a line in
This is the
there.
right here.
We
This
don't
is
know that, and it's
25
not
feet.
specified.
It's not specified, but it's there, but it's.
Cause
you
it
see
shows
the
5
5.5
feet, then it
here.
shows a 5-foot sidewalk.
There's the 20,
And
this
then
is
there's-
20 from here to here. That's the driveway or the sidewalk.
they're just showing you the measurement of the driveway. They're not designating anything as a right of way. The dashed lines along it are plumbing, I believe.
Well, if you look,
This is sewage. Or this is
That's
road
the
drainage.
Right, that's the road drainage. And I think the other dash lines are water.
This is
lines.
water, that's a fire hydrant.
you look.
They're gonna drain to the center?
Tom, you look at that, though,
I think the drainage
Can I get
goes
up
to
here?
the.
Yeah, go ahead, where's the
All
pointer?
right, you got,
Here's the pointer
all
right
right, you
there.
got your sidewalk here.
Right,
This is 25 feet. I don't know what this is and what this is. That must be another, 5 feet or more?
That's what it said, it's 5 feet, and the
Yes, you got
sidewalk's 5
5
feet.
here, 5 here, so that's 30 feet.
yeah, this is 85 from
That's
here
35 feet then.
to here.
To here, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
here to here is 85 feet. Right here, this arrow right here is 25 feet.
Yeah,
This road is 25 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Right.
standard residential small, road. And it said any condo association or HOA that are built that are privately owned, if you go in there, the roads are smaller, you cannot park on the street, you're not allowed to.
I think, the one I had.
It doesn't
we could
matter
park-
what
we-
community.
We could park on one side, there was
No,
only
based
sidewalk
on
right
the
away
width.
on one side. And you could park only on the sidewalk side, you couldn't park on the other side,
Right,
yeah.
and you cannot block a sidewalk because that's,
Yeah.
you're blocking
So
pedestrian
what
traffic.
would make sense from, what would make sense to change
Yeah,
from
my
60?
personal opinion, that makes sense, if you want my personal opinion,
Well,
on the front.
And that would be a
Yeah.
35-foot
41.
41, because you have 25 plus 5 and 5, right?
This
Well,
is
8
25 wide, this
8 and
is,
8 is 16, right? 25 plus
You got
16 would be
25, you
41.
got sidewalks are 10, is 35, you got another 10, that's 45, you probably got.
I mean, I'm looking at 25 and a half feet right here just for this
probably got
driveway.
about at least 45.
Because here's 20 here, and then the additional
That's
20,
30
yeah,
feet.
Yeah, it's 30 foot.
where's 30?
Because it's 5 foot to the sidewalk, 5-foot sidewalk, 20-foot driveway.
Okay, yeah.
So
'cause
if you have a
it's 30 here.
25 foot, it's 85 feet between buildings. So well,
Yeah, it says
right
right
now
there, it
it's
says
calling
30.
for a 60-foot right of way. According to our ordinance, we need to change that right away
To 35.
to 35 is what makes sense. If you do 35, that's giving you right away to the edge of the sidewalk on both sides.
Right,
If we do 35, then that gives you,
that gives you 25 in the center and 2.5 on the, or,
you'd have 5 feet on either side of the road
Right.
for right of way, and then you have 25
5, yeah,
feet.
5 on each side
You'd
and
have
25 in the
25
center.
feet from the right of way to the,
So 35 feet
Home.
between sidewalk, edge of sidewalk, edge of sidewalk.
does
right,
That,
that,
that sounds more
Would that fit
reasonable than
our-
66 feet.
way more sensible.
does that fits our, if we were to change to 35 feet instead of 60, would that make all the problems go away?
That would solve it.
That would solve the front setback.
Is there any other besides the front and the back?
Technically, the side setbacks have language about it.
Alright, but
Well-
Okay,
I
front
propose we change to 35
And
feet.
how
why
out of
don't you-
whack are we with the sides,
we
with the
wanna
side to side setback?
recommend to the
I
council.
wanna recommend to the
One-
council a 35-foot right of way instead of a 60.
I second it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion carried.
And was that the other 150.059?
You got one other issue,
I can look it up.
you got four
Sure, you got it,
condos,
that's great.
you got four condos that are wide 126.
Yeah, it says limit length of buildings to
In other
125
words,
feet.
it's about 15 inches too long. To me, that shouldn't make any difference.
I don't think that, no.
In my opinion.
Right now, I'm showing for the smaller units, I see 106 feet, 106.8 feet. Where's the larger ones at, Ken?
They're on the bottom. They're all
Yeah,
on the
they're
bottom.
126?
126, really? We're gonna, that's like a,
Yeah, it's 120.
It's 15 inches.
and it
What,
should
is
be
it 3 inches
120
per unit or something?
Yeah, they should be 125. So you can make them cut off about 3 inches each condo and you address the issue.
I think we do that. We gotta make them do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that much is fine. But to me, why
yeah,
are we
that's,
making an issue of it?
that's again, that's apples to oranges.
So,
I mean, seriously, I mean, the way I like I said, I was studying these prints and looking at it, I'm like, and then I was looking at other, unfortunately, I didn't have time to call the other planning commissions and get blueprints of some of the other associations. Like I said, Sterling Heights, it has condos going up everywhere. I mean, if there's a patch of grass, there's a house on it. And, you know, they're constantly developing,
well,
constantly.
still have my condo, I go to measure it.
Well, exactly, it's so,
I don't
but.
have it now, I sold it.
I mean, but I mean, it's just a time that, you know, everything is growing, you know, the housing market is growing. I mean, crap, if we were in New York City, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you could play ping
so
pong
anyway,
between your neighbors.
So what I'm saying, if you wanna change it, then, we'll have to make them cut it back to 125. With no sense changing the 125 to 126 and a quarter.
Yeah.
There's no sense doing it.
Right,
So if you wanna make an issue of it, then they'd have to cut about 3 inches off each condo.
well,
But
so I
otherwise,
say,
but in my opinion, why don't you just let it go, but if you wanna dot your I and cross your Ts like Ken's doing, well, then you'd have to go ahead and change it, so.
Can we just grant them a variance on that little thing? I don't know.
They'd have to request it, right?
That one,
Nope.
I wouldn't,
I'd rather just tend to ignore it, quite frankly. I really
I-
don't see it as a life or death issue.
I mean, you're really not gonna see the difference unless somebody's gonna go out there with a frickin' measuring tape.
And, you know, who's gonna bring a suit?
Only the zoning board of appeals can give a variance, and then it has to be approved by the council,
Right.
okay,
yeah,
if
so,
they approve it.
yeah, we can't, yeah, it has, any variance, they'd have to get a variance, but why,
It's just 3 buildings.
yes. Four
Yeah, I
variances,
just,
four.
that's, to me,
Yeah.
nitpicking, and I'm not gonna
Yeah,
comment.
I mean, I understand,
Can you
Ken,
zoom out a little
I
bit on
understand it's 125 feet, but we're only looking like 1.25 inches per building.
Can you zoom back a little bit? on the-
You want me to zoom back?
What's on there right now?
Yes, sir.
Just a little bit?
Go back down.
Yeah, those 3 buildings.
Is that all 3? I should go.
there's 4 along the bottom.
Yeah.
There's 4.
Yeah.
Just 4 buildings.
Could you go to the left a little more, slide it to the right?
This way. You want the pointer? That's right here.
No, I just wanted to see what was there. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't just move the first building over and make up the 3 inches in between each building.
Oh, it's the overall building of the overall length of the building.
No, it's the length of the building, it's the length.
Yeah.
It's, our ordinance is on
Our coordinates are,
125,
yeah.
and those are 126.25. So it's a foot and a quarter extra.
It's like a foot wider.
Yeah, wider, yeah. So that's what I'm saying, I would forget about it, but that's, if you want it to the ordinance, they have
I think it
to
looks fine. And
take off about 3 inches of each condo, and they
I
can
think we
make compliance.
continue to follow the recommendations of our professionals. We wouldn't be having this meeting right now.
No,
Mel doesn't need it, I mean, you don't see any issues with it.
I personally don't, I mean, that's pretty,
I mean, you're the engineer, and that's who I, you know, you have the degree, you have the engineering degree, you've been doing this a lot longer than I've been alive. So,
Well, wait.
Bang.
I mean,
Supposed to say thanks?
I'm just saying, no, I'm saying that his expertise is way more beyond
I
my
get it, no, I know.
realm of knowledge. Regardless, if my son was here, he'd probably sit down and agree with you.
if it was a safety issue, I'd say it was something, but it's not really a safety issue when you're talking.
You're talking a foot and a half, you're talking
4 inches on each, 5 inches on each one.
And which ones are the ones that have side variances that?
they're all within
I'm
20
assuming it's
feet.
the ones on the end?
If we're talking about the side yard setbacks, it's all of them.
We got 22.
I got 27 here, 25 there.
There again, you only got 20 between the buildings that can burn. So what's wrong with 22 or 23 on the, there's only
Because
one
it says,
side.
does it say 30 for side two, is that?
No, it says for every 10 feet of overall length a building has, you shall add a foot to the setback.
Okay, so on the 106, it should be 10?
Yeah, okay.
No, you add
Add to what?
Foot for 10
add
feet.
to the minimum of 10.
Oh, so it'd be 20 feet.
20 feet times 2. Because you would have to meet the other buildings setback.
So
as
40
well.
feet, so stretching 40 feet between buildings.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't, yeah, that's,
I can't see that.
I can't see that happening in any community, honestly.
Honestly, I've read that in multiple communities.
I know, and if you look at that, I just showed you 3 pictures, I could show you more.
You got a residential here, ordinance here now, you can be 5 foot
Yeah.
from your property line, from your neighbor. You know?
Absolutely.
So our residential rule is more lenient than our
Oh, yeah,
condo rule.
has a combination of 15 feet, 5 and 10. One
As long
side-
as you're-
One side could be 10, the other's gotta be at least 5.
I mean, literally, they could take phase 1 and reclassify all these as detached condominiums.
That's what they are, isn't it?
It'd still have to meet the zoning district requirements.
Like, I mean, for the 15 inches, I mean, that's.
Oh.
I don't think it's a big deal, I don't even want to.
I mean, nobody's really gonna go, like I said, I mean, I'm not gonna go out there. Engineers aren't gonna go out there, I don't think, the
But
state's gonna go out there. and
That's
start it.
actually the side one is actually the worst one out of all of them, if you go off on.
Yeah, I mean, 15 inches there is, I mean,
No,
it's-
not, cause he's saying it's 1 foot for every 10 foot plus. So you should have a 30-foot, no,
Say,
20
Larry, I just
foot.
want to interrupt, you're gonna have to find another administrator. This is getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. You got one person nitpicking at a large development that this town needs. Are you flipping kidding me? I'm gonna go,
Good night, Bart.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
take care.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have to leave too. Not because he's leaving, but, I have to cook dinner for
Well,
my
thanks for
wife.
coming out, Larry. I know you usually are not
I got
out
other
this time,
commitments I have to do, so I'm.
Understood.
Thank you
Thank you
for
for
coming
coming.
in, Mel, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right, what are we
Oh, yeah.
doing next here? We have Mel here, so what else do we need to talk to Mel
It's the side
about?
is the next.
Break time, just keep us on track here. What do we need to resolve?
Okay,
well,
I'll see you there.
it's 125 feet, it's 120 feet, 125 feet. They're going 15 inches, I don't see a problem with that, I really don't.
If,
Go ahead, Ken.
if we're comfortable just changing everything, why don't we just change that to 130 feet? Then you don't ignore it, then it's not a non-compliance.
Okay, do you make a motion to change it to 130 feet?
Well, that's what they say, when it comes down to this, everybody has the option to make a motion. If somebody wants to second it, we vote on it, we move on.
Well, my question is, are we going to, if we don't do something about this tonight, what happens next?
It pushes it off another month.
Are we gonna be talking about this next month? Because I don't wanna talk about this.
No, I want action tonight, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
That's
wanna-
why I'm here.
I
With this
don't wanna sit
particular
through another
discussion,
meeting.
Right now, we got one down, that was the,
Yeah,
We got the front, we got front setback down,
Front
we
and
got
back
the rear
done.
setback down, done.
Alright, so this is what we're on right now.
And we got the side
So,
setback,
I
is
think
what we
we
were
talked
okay with
about it
that.
quite
So now we need,
extensively, so
Basically, this
anybody
is-
wanna make a motion?
I make a
That
motion to
would-
make it
that's-
to 130 feet, that way if they wanna build smaller, they can. But if they wanna expand a little bit, they have that ability. We need to update this ordinance to allow a larger size. Everybody wants a larger
I'm
condo.
fine with it, I just think.
I don't
it's
have a
time
problem
to
with it.
Take action, as Barb said, we
Well,
need to
this-
take action on this.
I don't think
They're
I
gonna
don't think
be
they're gonna sue
building-
us over
Building is
15
ramping
inches.
up. These
Well,
guys,
they're gonna be putting the buildings up and we're still gonna be here talking about setbacks.
okay, well,
We can't
that's
do
good, we're right on time right
We
now,
can't
as
do
far as
that.
I'm concerned, because we just gotta wrap this up.
So did
Move it
you,
to, I make a motion to move it to 130 that allows for the 15-inch variance for the larger buildings.
support?
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
And
All
100,
opposed?
what exactly, was that,
It was 126 feet and
for
change.
what, total width of
Total
The
width of
building.
the,
Total length of the building.
a 4 or
Total
5
length.
unit, whatever they have to be
Right,
within
units.
X amount of feet.
You know,
Correct.
those four
So-
buildings are a
Total
foot,
length of building.
those
Right,
buildings
total
are
length of building from
15
125.
inches too big to comply.
So expanding it from 125 feet for building width to 130 feet, 130 feet.
Okay.
And what was the result of the vote on that?
It passed.
Okay.
Okay?
Anything else?
Yes, one last
I think we have that all covered.
Please,
No, we didn't discuss the last thing, which is
Didn't talk about side setbacks.
just saying, if we're gonna get it
No,
done.
very good.
Like you said.
Side
let's get it done.
setbacks are at 20 feet,
Yeah,
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, on this. So what do we need to do? You're saying 20 feet's not adequate?
Yeah.
According to the
Well,
engineer, we
need to
are
make,
good.
so I will make a motion if I can figure it out fast enough,
Well,
to keep it at 20 feet. you
Well,
know,
it's-
one side,
it's
the other
because
end,
of the
and-
extra, that's what because of it says plus 1 foot for every 10 foot. And I didn't read it, Ken, so I know we're,
It would be 150.059 B5A. We would just omit the second sentence.
Which one?
150.059 B5.
B5A,
Yep.
where it says our code of ordinance requires the third, limits the length of buildings 225 feet.
No, second sentence.
No, the
Oh,
next one.
setbacks begin from the right of way and not the roadway, leaving all buildings in non-compliance with their front yard setbacks.
Wait, what?
I'm reading what you're saying here, well, I'm just reading your highlights here. If you wanna read the ordinance, that's perfectly fine with me, I'm trying to.
I was giving you the sentence of the ordinance that
Okay.
He was helping you out.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The second sentence, each side yard shall be increased by 1 foot for each 10 feet or part thereof, 40 feet in overall dimension along the adjoining lot line.
So if we remove that,
If you omit that sentence,
it's in compliance.
it's in compliance.
Then I move to omit that sentence, cause that's old school.
Who seconded the last motion? I'm sorry.
Barb seconded the last motion. In regards to the changing it from 125 to 130.
So we just need a motion for this one and a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
What are we voting on now?
Oh,
About
removing-
the
removing-
the sentence?
Yeah,
Removing the
Aye,
The side yard.
aye,
the side setback, omitting that altogether.
I'm in.
Mr. Riley,
Comment? Oh, yeah. I don't think,
yay or nay?
oh, yay.
Okay. All opposed?
Aye.
Alright. Yays have it.
and you had a comment? Or no?
Oh, when we're all done. we'll run through
Who seconded that one? I'm sorry.
Mr. Weaver, to omit. I said it's an old ordinance, it's from what? When was it written? 1970 something?
That's it, it's,
It was, I mean, some of these ordinances, I mean, were back from 1954.
Well, being
So
old
we're gonna
doesn't
have
make it wrong,
four-
it's just a
to review
guideline.
here again, we're gonna have 4 separate recommendations.
4 separate recommendations.
And Ken, are you gonna write those up? Okay, so they'll be in the
They'll be in the,
regular
for the council meeting.
packet. We'll have 4 separate ones, which we
Correct.
just talked about.
Do you
Yes.
want me to write up the one from the last meeting too?
Sure.
25 to 30.
Back, I was gonna do
For
that,
the
I
height.
appreciate it.
Please.
Exactly like the language was you had in the minutes.
Yep.
So we got 5 that'll be going to the council,
Yes.
and it's in their court now.
Yes.
Okay. What else do we have for Mel? Anything that we gotta keep them all for?
If he has any input on anything, it's always appreciated.
Well, I don't really have anything, because I'm not sure what's going on either.
Oh, okay, I'm saying, I mean, but the plans that you saw, everything looked,
No, yeah.
Everything was
something
fine.
I should know that's coming up in the future, I'd be glad to hear a little input on what's coming there, that might be something of concern, but I don't
okay.
have any input on anything that.
okay.
Okay. Well, you get, I mean, you provided a lot of valuable
Thank you very
information
much
this
for
evening.
coming out.
Like I told the council too, you know, if you guys need me to just come up, I know in advance I'll make it. You
Okay.
know, and sorry I couldn't, well, we were gonna have that Zoom meeting in Florida, but then something went on, because I was ready to go. And then, remember that? We were gonna have a Zoom
Yeah,
meeting?
we could try it.
But something
Just
happened,
one at a time.
and it got canceled for,
Was that to do with the code, that was the code enforcement stuff, wasn't it? We were talking about.
yeah,
That's one that we'll be working on,
Yeah.
we'd like to
yeah,
move forward, we're ready to move on that.
Alright.
yeah.
Okay, we
Okay.
appreciate you being out here.
You bet you.
Thank you very much.
We're sure probably in Florida today, then, right?
No, it's okay.
Okay, good.
It's been 90 down there some days right now.
Oh, yeah, they're just getting to be the warm season down there, everybody
Yeah.
forgets about that, it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
so.
That's all right, it's gonna be 25 here tonight, so.
Shh,
Yeah, but
stop.
it's in the 70s a little later.
I was out and it was snowing on me this morning and I was
Yeah,
not
it was.
happy.
Yeah, what, 75, 80 on the weekend?
Mhm.
All right, moving on, comments from commissioners. Mr. Riley had something that he wanted to speak up about.
Yeah,
Sir.
I just don't think that saying that we trying to get us to follow our own rules and regulations should be considered nitpicking. Ken puts in a lot of time, I understand where
Absolutely.
he's coming from, and these are our rules, our ordinance, he just wants to see that they're followed, if we change them, we can change them.
Well
But
said.
that should not be considered nitpicking.
No, I never said it was.
But I say you did,
Okay.
but the term came up.
Yes, it did.
Well,
Then-
Noted, Ken, appreciate
I
the
guess
comment.
that what we needed to do, based on Ken's information.
We needed to get down to the nitty
Is
gritty.
act on it one way or the other,
Right.
which,
Correct.
that's what we did tonight, so,
Right. That's
And
the
I
whole
think
purpose
it
of,
was a source of frustration, is we were,
right.
just weren't quite sure how to resolve it. We were trying
to come to terms on where to go.
It was, we figured out the problem, we identified it, we talked about it,
Yeah.
and now we have a
We got
resolution.
and we got the input of Mel,
Yeah.
the professional
Oh, good.
here, to help us
Help.
along, so,
and making these recommendations for changings will assist us in the future.
exactly.
I mean, and so if somebody wants to come and build up a 140-foot long building, and we're going, 130 is pretty fair size.
Right.
You know, anything bigger than that, then you're looking at a palace.
That was just basically to correct the 1 foot and a quarter problem.
Right.
Right, and I could see where Ken was, where Mr. Dunbar was coming from that too.
Yeah.
In regards to like, hey, we got this here, let's say,
Right.
they want 20, but it should be this. Ken, thank you very much for the research, you actually did a great job on that, I do appreciate it.
We're
Thank
good.
you. I'm so sorry, I know we were about to leave. I do think we also need to look at the road widths. 150.117D, just change that from 51 feet to.
Is that for condo association?
It's for residential multiple roads.
And what
And
is,
it's 51 feet?
Does the condo ordinance say anything about the width of the road?
It points to that subsection.
Didn't we talk about moving that to 35?
no, it's
Yeah.
25.
25.
No, he's talking about the road itself, right?
Yes, the road
Yeah, the
itself.
road itself. So right now our
There's this chart
ordinance,
that's got 51 feet plugged into it.
yeah,
It's like everything's 50, and 66 feet.
I
Okay.
think it.
Is that what it-
Pertaining to a different
That's-
situation, you
everything
know,
else.
different type of residential, but I'm not an expert on it.
But 55 feet for a residential road?
It's crazy. I'm just.
I think it's a typo.
I think it's a residential application where you are gonna allow parking on the side of the road.
Then you need the
Perhaps
extra-
it's-
You need the extra.
But it's not speaking to the actual road width of being, you know, either 20 or 22 feet width without curb and gutter.
Because
So
we
that
just,
extra,
because we just voted on
10 feet
changing
or
it.
whatever it is to
We changed the road
accommodate
right away.
parking.
We chose the right of way to 35 feet, which is 5 and 5 and then 25 and
but we
7.
base that off a 25-foot road, but right now currently it says our road is,
It's supposed to be 51.
so we need to address that. You're right, Ken, we need to address
Because
Well, I
that.
would still like clarification on that chart before I'm gonna weigh in on that. There's like 2 parts to that chart.
If you look at it online, it's one chart. It just got
All one.
all one. It
All
just got split because of. I mean, you can. I put the PDF in there. We could
What do you
pull it
want
up.
to take? Yeah, tell me where, you drive, you tell me where it's at.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
Thanks again, Mel.
Title
Thanks, man.
XB right there, ordinance.
This one?
Yep. And then just Control F, 150, 151.5.
Sure, when it loads.
It must be big.
It is. It's a 100.
It's a-
Yeah, I was gonna say, it must be big.
Control F,
151.55.
is that right?
I
0.0.
Can I click on that or?
hit enter a couple times. Or hit the down arrow, I guess. If it's, oh.
Aw, snap!
Wait, yeah, online it displays.
All right, I'll take your
PDF
word for it.
displays as
I'll take
one.
your word for it.
Which is pavement width measured from face of curb to face of curb, 51 feet.
It's gotta be a mistake. Yeah, I was gonna pay.
It has to be.
Well, what do we want,
I don't know.
what would we like to?
I'm gonna,
change it to?
yeah, 25 feet. That's what the prints show.
Okay. Makes
So
sense.
I'll make the
Consistent.
motion to change it to 25 feet.
I'll
Hold
support.
on,
Well,
you're not changing the condo ordinance now.
This is the
Now you're
actual-
changing the actual ordinance for the city of that zoning district.
oh, then we
This
can't
would
do
apply
that.
to subdivisions, everything.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, I'm just so you know what you're
That
doing.
makes it kind
So, should we add something to the condo ordinance?
That'd be good. I mean, in my mind, that would probably work.
I'm just
So how do we do that?
throwing
Can we
this out here do we add
Recommend.
something?
recommend that we add for for condo ordinance, we have to add a section.
Council could actually do that, couldn't it?
I don't
Well,
know
you
if
can
that's-
change, I believe what it says is to see here, kind of a thing.
Yeah, remove
And
that.
get rid of the see here and put in there curb to curb, 26 feet or whatever you want it to be, or 25 feet, whatever you want it to be.
For, specifically for
Condo.
condo.
With that in mind, bringing up the part of the MCL, I think that without asking the lawyer, I think that might make us in some trouble. Just because you're saying specifically, if you're a condo, your road has to be 25 feet, which is specifically targeting condos, as opposed to just the zoning district has this road width.
And what did he say our roads were in the?
He said 22, right?
So we're still bigger than the roads that are going through the side streets.
Well, it's 51 is what he's saying.
Well, I was talking about currently right now, I think Bart said the roads were.
Yeah.
Yeah, roads are 22.
That's what I'm saying, I don't wanna make the roads smaller than what we have out there now.
And there is language talking about on-site, on-road parking on one side. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
I think that's what they're figuring.
That's what it sounds like.
You think it's two 8-foot lanes and 8 feet for parking?
See, I'm not an expert at it, but it just seemed to me that, because I know I've been in subdivisions like that, you know, where they have street
Yeah,
and gravel shoulders and people.
that's how it is down here. I mean, it's.
But how do we fix that then?
31 feet?
Is that gonna allow us, if we do that, is that still gonna mess with the frontage now?
No, because the setback's still from the right of way.
Okay.
They can ask for a variance on pavement width, so they don't have to comply with the.
If this just refers to pavement width, and in the condo ordinance, it says to refer to that other one, like Eric was saying, if we could eliminate the line in the condo ordinance that says, you know, don't refer to this one, and just put in 25 feet, curb to curb. Would that solve the issue?
Like I said, I think we'd have to ask the lawyer, but there's the part of the Michigan compiled legislation that says no zoning shall treat, ordinance shall treat condos differently than it would other types of ownership. So we can't, which was why I was saying we can't change the height of just condos
But
to
doesn't
30
the
feet.
condo ordinance in and of itself isolate
do that?
condos and
It's
from
in the
everybody
residential
else?
multiple zoning.
It doesn't, it's just, the condo ordinance really is just structuring how we're going to review your condominium development, and then it points you to all of the regulations, and all of the regulations are regulations that apply to other zoning districts. It's, okay, you've got the height and density requirements of the residential multiple district, you have the pavement widths from the subdivision, I don't know, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so we could ask him we could
If
ask.
that's saying 51 feet, Ken, does that mean that all the rest of our roads are supposed to be 51 feet?
That I'm not sure. That thought
That's
did
what I'm
cross.
saying.
That
We're
thought
in
did
trouble.
cross my mind. That being said,
The roads were already there when that was written, so all
Right.
the roads that we had already are definitely grandfathered in.
and that being said, the survey that we just looked at for that plan showed Bell River having a right of way of 66 feet,
Yeah,
not
He's-
not 50. And
he
It's a
said it
major
does that.
road.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Bell
A
River did.
connector between two, a road between two major roads as a connector is a major road.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
connector, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you're. That being said, if somebody put in a subdivision, 51 feet seems silly. Like either way.
That, I would just like, let a sleeping dog lie, just let it lie as it is.
I think you need to talk to the lawyer, personally myself, but I don't know.
Ask him.
I mean, who's harmed? Who's harmed if you specifically make the road to this thing? Is it the developer or is it the people who live there? I think that's what you need to think about. Because
Yeah.
obviously, once the condo is built and developed and the people buy it, that's on them to do their due diligence if they don't like the way that it's put together or whatever. In my mind, I'm not a lawyer either, so I don't know.
Right, but
But I think the person that's gonna sue you is the developer, right? I'm assuming, when you say that you can't make a special rule for a condo,
I figured a disgruntled you know, someone who lives right next to the property and doesn't like, you know.
That's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, but it could definitely be avoided, and I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, do the best for.
You know, if we're complying with our law, they have nothing to say about it.
Well, I mean, we can,
This is the
I
last.
mean, is
thing
this gonna affect the development of the condominiums right now?
As
As written?
written, I don't believe they comply with the code.
Now, with the changes that we made, the changes in recommendation, the recommendations
The
we
only thing
made
left is the.
to council,
I don't. think
is
about-
there a thought, okay, well, what's your opinion on it? What is your thought in regards to width?
I mean, if we're talking our normal roads are 22 feet, and we're requiring parking on one side, 30 doesn't seem crazy. That being said, that is bigger than what they're proposing.
All right, well, do you recommend a 30-foot instead of a 51? Is that what your thoughts are, what you believe we should do? It's your opinion. I mean, I said everybody has a voice, and if that's what
I think
if you think
31
51 is outrageous, if you think 51 is a little bit stretched,
51 seems massive.
and you strongly believe that we should move it to 31, then make a motion to move it to 31. If there was someone that wanted to build wider, they could request a variance.
I don't think M19 in front of my house is 51 feet.
Right. I don't know where they got that number.
I think you were right when you said it was a typo, but I don't know.
I think it might have was intended to be 31 and 36 feet. That is my thought. But that being said, if we change this, they will still need to seek a variance for the road width
To make it less than.
to make it less than 31. And if we're all in favor, if we're all okay with them having to seek a variance with that, I will make the motion.
I don't wanna have to see them seek a variance. You know, just my feelings on it.
I do
I
think
don't
that
wanna put
one.
any stumbling blocks.
I do think that one would be
Okay.
council, because I think it says council may waive that. But
Well, then that's not too bad if the council can waive it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy enough, I guess.
Mhm.
That's, I don't like.
Because if we make it 25, then it might, then you're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. If we make it 25 and then it comes back to bite us, because you said that applies for everything, we make it 31, then now, if for whatever reason there is another.
That's a
road-
single lane with one side parking.
Yeah,
And
that's.
that's a typical roadway, I think.
Ken, are you pretty sure that the city council can?
street parking shall only be allowed in areas designated specifically to accommodate vehicle parking and approved by city council during the site plan approval.
There we go.
There it is.
So I think to me,
And there is single side parking. I had it in Romeo. It sucked. I could not park, I had to fit 4 vehicles in my driveway. I parked my van there one time and I got a $50 ticket.
Well, how wide is Pratt on your school? I know you got
Pratt
one
is, I
parking
think,
one
30.
side. Is that,
I thought we were 66 foot right away on that, I might be mistaken.
I mean, you can only
You're talking the
park,
width of the road, right?
you can only
Oh,
park
really?
on one side.
Curb.
You could-
You're talking the width of the road, right?
Yeah, on the actual.
I mean, when I look at it, you can park on both sides of the road and the car going down the middle is pretty tight. So I'm assuming 8 foot a car, 25 feet maybe, something like that?
yeah,
I'm just guessing though, I've never measured it, I don't
Makes
know.
sense, yeah, I've seen them.
I've walked down there a lot.
You have, it has to be wide
idea
enough.
Right where he lives.
What's the standard width of a fire apparatus? What's the
I
standard
believe
width?
it's 10 feet.
10 feet? So 10 and you got 8 and 8, so that's what, 16, 26?
It's gotta
so
turn too.
They're not 10 feet wide.
It's gotta be able to
They're
turn.
wider.
Yeah, so 31 at least.
No, they're not 10 feet wide. I think you might actually be 8 foot wide. You know,
What's a single, it's
Wait,
about
you
the
could-
size of a single
You can
lane.
probably Google that, right? Average fire truck size.
width, yeah, they're not 10 feet. I drove them things for a while, that's not.
You can always
10
walk
wide.
over and ask Doug for a tape measure. We got a Pierce, or was that a Spartan sitting over there? They're standard size.
I think they need at least,
The typical width of fire trucks range from 8 to 10 feet.
Okay, so we're gonna say 10 foot max. 10 foot max is probably gonna be, 1,000 gallon pumper, tandem axle,
ladder with the tiller maybe, but.
ladder with a tiller. Ladder with a tiller is 10. And they're about 30 feet long. So we don't have any ladders with tillers, but our newer fire engine is gonna, I mean, it's just gonna barely fit in there. So she's gotta be a 10-footer. So, I don't know, 31 would be, like I said, it would be a one pass with a single car. And that's most streets. Anything smaller than that is.
What if we worded it will be a minimum of 25 feet?
What are their plans say? 25 feet on the road width?
Yeah.
Yep,
25 on the road with 5 and 5.
with no parking.
With no parking.
Oh, with no parking.
No,
Yeah.
they have 25-foot road, no parking on the road.
That's what I'm
That's what it
thinking.
says?
That's what we were
That's,
told. You're
yeah,
not gonna have road parking, you have to park on the drive.
you have to park in your driveway.
I think the village did mention that a few times. You know, somebody
Fritz.
asked where everybody, well, you got
I mean,
two
it's a
spaces
whole-
in your garage, and you got.
I
Right.
imagine that, and they'll probably post no parking signs.
Yeah.
Exactly,
it
and
said
that's an
it's
HOA.
It's HOA, so it's
Right.
not they're gonna get a ticket, they're gonna get in trouble from the HOA and then somebody will
Right.
get, they'll handle it internally.
Right,
Correct,
right.
correct. There's no parking.
I like that, minimum of, should be a minimum of 20, can we
Or
say
shall be a
that?
minimum.
Shall be a minimum of 25 feet,
Period.
then that way it leaves a,
An opening, somebody
And-
wants to,
Leaves an opening for a
Yeah,
variance in
more,
width if they
as
want
long
it.
as the extra,
The
width
minimum road
interfere
width
with any
should
of
be
the other
25
regulations, or setbacks, or.
So how does that
this
read,
or that.
Mr. Dunbar?
It would just say 25 feet.
So that allows them that they can build wider if they wish. If we put it at,
It's worded like that, I would interpret it like that.
that's how I would interpret it. Set, all right, so 25 feet. Have a motion for 25?
A minimum. Shall
Minimum
be a
25.
Right.
Is that how we,
Give 'em a
is that how we
chance to
can
build
rewrite that
wider.
as a minimum of 25 feet?
Well, it's,
Yeah, just like they expanded from the 10 to 20 feet.
Go ahead, Ken. What do you got?
it's a chart, so, and all of the rest are just listing the widths. Are we just gonna, for that one specifically, just put minimum 25 feet?
I like that idea.
That's, yeah, it allows for,
Who wants to,
With-
Ken, are you putting this motion?
I thought Steve was.
Oh, Steve, you're doing it?
No, it's Tom, do it. You do it.
all right, so I'll make a motion to change the wording to a minimum of 25 foot.
Shall be a minimum.
Shall be a minimum of 25 feet. Does that sound about right?
It is a chart, we're all, right, like, cause it's just listing white widths, and then one's gonna just have shall be 25 feet with.
Well,
if you're okay,
could stick a little asterisk on there and.
Drop it below or something.
Yeah.
I like it, now we're getting,
Footnote it.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
like that.
but the chart, it says 25
Yeah,
feet and that's
acceptable.
it. You don't know if it's a maximum or a minimum.
I mean,
Where if
you
we
could just
put the-
change
That would
the
work.
following street pavement widths are minimums, and then just,
There you go.
There you go. Would that suffice?
and then are we just changing multiple family residential streets undedicated streets, or are we also changing dedicated streets?
What are you talking about, all the various different
I'm sorry,
widths on there too?
I'm sorry?
You got different widths on there too?
Yes, dedicated is 56, which if they were
I just
making.
wanna deal with this 51 thing right now if we can, unless
Well, it's
it's.
the same zoning district, that was the only reason I was asking if we're tackling it at the same time. It's 56 for dedicated, 51 for undedicated.
Well, dedicated road, I think, is a main thoroughfare. Undedicated is your sides roads.
No, a dedicated road would just mean a residential family multiple road that is dedicated to the public.
Okay, then we change the wording for a minimum of 25.
For that both?
I don't see why not. That allows them to variance if, you know, we're dedicating 25, a minimum of 20, it has to be a minimum of 25 feet. If you wanna make it 100, so be it. If you wanna make it, but if you wanna make it less than 25, can't have it because the
Could we,
minimum size of a fire apparatus is 8 feet, a maximum size is 10 feet. And then you have to have your distance there,
What
so
if it was just for private roads? Would that work?
That's what undedicated streets are.
that's what undedicated is.
Undedicated is a private road.
Yes.
Right, like,
Well, then never mind.
Okay, here's an example. You know who Mark Blazek is?
Yes.
Okay, off of Riley Center. He has the road that comes into his property through a bridge.
Right.
Okay, it's a private road. It's only 15 feet wide. It's enough to get a fire truck up.
No,
He
it's
has a
not.
road. What's that?
It's not.
It's not? What is
That
it?
bridge isn't wide enough to get a fire truck across it.
So it's gotta be less than. But he did that back road back there. He rebuilt the road on the back side.
Yeah, that's been there.
Yeah, he just paved all that. What is that over there now? But that's an undedicated road.
Yeah.
There's no, it's not
It's
Blazing
not.
Lane. Where here Potter Street is a dedicated road. It has signage.
I understand,
Oh, okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
No, trying to get to the end of this.
Coffee
Yeah.
and sugar.
So,
Allow him to finish writing it up here and then,
we might have solved,
I think if you change 150.117D to all public and private streets may be constructed to accommodate vehicle parking on at least one side as shown in the site plan, I think that resolves it.
Weren't we talking about the undedicated road width?
Yes,
Are
we
we
do
talking
still
two
do
different
that.
issues again here?
Yes.
Okay, we want to, I would like to resolve one at a time. I can't, I'm not that quick, I'm slow, I gotta tell you. The undedicated, we're having a problem because we're saying that we're going with the 51 feet to begin with, right? Now you're saying, well, let's go, if we go undedicated road to a 20, shall be a minimum of 25 feet, that covers all those other categories, right?
Just residential multiple undedicated roads, yes.
So that covers that, and that's actually solving our problem right now.
yes.
yes.
That is what I would like to do before we start, it seemed like we were introducing another topic.
He was just talking about the street parking.
I
And
don't wanna talk about street parking, I mean, we can, but not with this.
Well, and for purposes of the condos, they're gonna say no parking, so.
Yeah, they've
Right,
already,
that is
they
it.
have
We
their
don't need to
rules
change, I
on
don't think
that.
we need to worry about changing the ordinance.
No, that is their own
That's
private
what-
Right?
roads.
Cause
So-
that's in place for the rest of the city
As long as
already,
it's
right, Ken?
it's a private road and with
I
a
mean,
minimum
yeah.
of 25 feet,
Right.
that satisfies our
All right,
ordinance.
so let's,
Oh,
let's.
Okay. Let's vote on this one and we can talk.
Okay, all right, so how is it written, or how are we,
Oh, sorry, I flipped. 150.155, or 151.55E, the following are street pavement widths, minimums. Changing multiple family residential streets, dedicated streets to 25 feet, and multiple family residential streets, undedicated streets to 25 feet.
minimum
A minimum.
25?
Shall be a minimum.
We added minimum up at the top.
Yeah, so it already
Okay.
covers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it already covers the
Just put minimum,
minimum
the
width.
whole chart
The
is
whole
minimum.
chart.
Minimum width of dedicated and undedicated streets is 25 feet.
Okay.
Following are the street pavement with standard minimums.
All right, I make a motion to accept those changes.
I'm there.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries.
Ken, you like that one?
That one I'm
He likes it, hey Mikey.
That's a good thing. That's a
I
good
give him a lot of credit, like you said, he's.
Old man reference, you might not get that one.
Yeah, I know what that
No.
one is.
Poor guy took a lot of slack from us. All right,
He's bulletproof, don't let him fool you.
okay, can we wrap this up?
Anything else?
Poor
It
little
would
dog has
it
to
would
go
just
to the
be,
bathroom.
like I said, 150.117 street parking, which I already read the first part of you, but the first part, but I did not read the second part. Street parking shall only be allowed in areas designated specifically to accommodate vehicle parking and approved by the council during the site plan approval. All public and private streets shall be constructed to accommodate vehicle parking on at least one side, as shown in the site plan and approved by city council. So even though it's their private road, we're still requiring it.
Still requiring approval by city council.
No, we're requiring them to have parking on one side.
Shall we?
Then that would be 31 feet, that would be one.
Well,
That was why I was talking about the width of 31 feet.
Okay, so if we do a minimum of 25, that covers that base.
But you then also have to change this part to
Yeah.
not require that it be,
So should we omit that?
I think it would just be all public and private streets may be constructed to accommodate vehicle parking on
Okay.
this one side, as shown in a site plan and approved by city council.
Okay, I like the may better, instead of
May.
shall be, let's may.
So then it's up to the plan, when they put the plan to council, at that point, they can question if the road should have parking
Yeah,
on
that's
the
good, Ken, I
sides.
think that
I
was.
like that.
Yeah, that's great, perfect.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept that change?
I'll move that we get that
I'll
change.
second it.
Second it, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries on that one. Mr. Dunbar, that is awesome work.
Woo-hoo.
It's like having eyes in the sky.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I make a motion to adjourn
I
at
have nothing.
Yeah, I do got a couple quick comments, just.
Okay, you do? All right.
Here. I'm just putting together all these rough drafts. I've
Absolutely.
got, when I get them all together, I'm gonna make a full pack for everybody, but I got page 15, 17, 19, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24. Tom, you were gonna get me a copy of 25 or 26 of those, the language that we changed that day we were working.
It's already in, it's already.
I know, I need a hard copy though.
Oh, you want a
Just
hard copy?
text. I'm putting all this, so we
Okay,
have a
yeah,
text
I'll print
document.
up, section 4.
Just whatever,
We changed all of
I'm
section 4.
missing, page 23, 24, whatever you did there. However, just give me a text thing of that if you would, please.
Yeah,
And we got 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and we did 44.
we did
So-
44.
Yes, so that's where we're at so far. We're getting close. If nobody has any objections, I will edit, rewrite section 1, which is all pretty much text, the introduction,
Okay,
and bring a draft of that to our next meeting. So we'll have
Absolutely.
all those front pages, and then it's gonna get us closer to that last 7 and 8 section. And once I get all that text done, then I'm gonna make a copy up for everybody to read just the text.
right,
We'll
just
have
to go, just to go
we'll have
over it
that
real
copy.
quick,
We'll
and
start
then,
putting maps and charts and
Right, pictures.
pie graphs, what else we wanna put in there.
is that all the section that Ken did with all the red marking, or did we update?
Yeah, Ken's doing 2 and 3. You know,
Okay, all right, you're still working on that, right, Ken?
I haven't started yet, but I will next.
yeah, it's,
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
we
awesome.
already,
That's fine,
yeah,
that's
he's gonna,
fine.
he said he's gonna be dealing with that, so.
Here, you can end that one.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Those are expensive.
All right.
How much-
They're
how much-
valuable to me, I just buy them by the bagful. It's expensive.
Still. Okay, any other comments?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, all
I said,
right.
All right.
Great
meeting.
meeting
Got
adjourned
something
at
done.
8:08 PM.
I'm sure I gotta